talk. Well, I was gonna talk about the width module.
Oh yeah,
Did you
yeah.
get that?
I haven't looked at it at all.
Yeah.
I've been so busy with things. Yeah, I understand that it.
Also, Norns.
Oh my
We
God.
haven't even talked about that.
I had a friend ask me about Norns. He just assumed that I got to beta test it or something, which I did not.
I don't think any. I mean,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
anybody, yeah,
That's
like
not mono
3 people
style.
did, yeah.
Exactly. It seems pretty amazing, but I'm also in a place where I'm not getting anything new.
Yeah.
I have so much to work on with what I have, so. But I'm curious where you are with it. I'm curious where you sit with it.
The mannequins, the width I got, like I've got it. I pre-ordered it whenever it was announced, and I got it like 3 days before I left for a tour, and then in Chicago I was talking to Dan about it, and it's like I think mine is broken. Like I think mine doesn't work properly.
Something is confusing about it, right? And it doesn't.
Well, it's a confusing module. Like it is.
Mm-hmm.
It takes some time to get past the learning curve. But that I think most of their modules have, and I really like that about them.
I still don't understand Just Friends, but I love it to death.
I don't understand it at all.
I absolutely
have no idea.
And I love what I get out of it, and I know if I turn the middle knob to like 10 o'clock, if I have it on noon, everything will be slow.
Yeah, and then
if I turn it to 10 o'clock, it starts jamming.
Yeah.
And I love that, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
And so, and I was under the impression that the top left knob would do the same thing, but it doesn't.
That's the intone knob, right? So is that kind of like intonation a little
Well,
bit?
what I understand the top left knob to be doing is clockwise is like multiplication or division of it, and the other one is the other. I don't know. But and that the FM knob is supposed to be. I thought it was supposed to be talking to tell you how the top left knob is working. But they're totally different.
They work
different. Yes, they seem independent to me. But yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I also just discovered. I mean, you could do this with any or and type thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Patching Just Friends into the cold Mac logic section, but like self-patching it so that it's mixing together, and then the survey knob is like modulating that to change.
Self-patching cold Mac.
Self-patching cold Mac, but patching whatever outputs you want of Just Friends into the logic of cold Mac, and just getting these like really weird and complex modulations and things. That's been fun.
My approach is the same, where it's let me try this idea, but I don't know what it's doing, and I will probably never really know what it is doing. But it's the concept of like, oh, well, maybe if I do this, this could happen, but not really understanding when anything.
Yeah.
Which is why I've started laying off my patch notes lately.
Yeah.
I can't make patch notes even now. I mean, I could like list out all the connections, but that doesn't even tell you.
Yeah.
Like patrons are saying like, I'm getting some feedback sort of where like, it seems like some people are a little disappointed that my patch notes aren't as comprehensive as they used to be. But like, I feel like I'm telling the important things. Like, here's the concept of what I'm doing. But like the patches, it's like who cares what's plugged into whatever, because I'm not even thinking that way anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, here's the idea. Let me try to like, this is something that's experimenting with this, but that is a higher level like concept thing. Whereas if you're just starting, you just kind of want someone to tell you, put this into this, and it'll do this. You know.
I feel the same way about patch notes. I always made them for my own reference because I know the way that I turn knobs. It's like the thing that patch notes are really missing is how you interact with the synth. I mean, because like like when you have 5 different like things looping and being sequenced and modulation is happening, like the patch is relevant, but the moments when you make the tiny micro changes that then carry the patch to like new sounds, like new
Yes.
dimensions.
Yeah.
That's the kind of like nuances I feel like of like performing a patch or making a patch that it's really hard, and that's where
You can't write that.
Yeah, and
you
that's
know?
where the videos I think
Yes.
are cool to
The
do. And I
real
think,
documentation of that.
Yeah, I think that's why people really like watching videos. I mean, that's why I liked watching YouTube videos
Yes.
of modular synths rather than just listening to the music,
Yes.
because it's like you get to see the interaction. But yeah, like the patch notes, it's like really just understand, like, you know, how to patch a DCA and then like
well, you know, really
attenuate something or like invert or something or do polar, you know, like just understand that and then just like make a melody and then just mess around with it.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I feel the same way about patch notes. I'm just like,
the patch notes can communicate this low level of like the plumbing, you know, and somewhat of the concept if you can translate patch notes. Because I used to feel like I would do my patch notes in the beginning because I couldn't save my patch, and so I wanted a way in case I needed to come back to it to do it, and it was for my own purposes. But then I realized I was selling modules that I used to use, and I would never be able to go back anyway.
Exactly.
And so I stopped doing that. But then the patch that I've been using in a lot of my things lately is very similar.
Yeah.
So a lot of my patch notes will just say I'm using the performance patch, you know, and that stuff doesn't change. Like the only stuff that changes is a little bit of modulation here and there, which is what makes the piece unique to itself.
Yeah.
But also what is really making it unique is what's inside of Kriya on the mono.
Right, exactly.
And I
it's
can't
like,
write that stuff.
Yeah, like, it's like what your scales are, like what, or
the
even
phasing
just like
of all the different cycles,
the phasing
and like
of the cycles is huge. Like what your what
for me,
the
way
clocks are doing.
Well,
like,
it's the way Just Friends is integrating with the phasing of Kriya. There's like so many levels of abstraction basically coming. I thought about this when I was getting ready for the sets that I'm playing here.
Have you been clocking Kriya with Just Friends?
No.
Do you do that? That's like my thing.
Do you have it cycling then? You must have it cycling. See, I flip back and forth between cycling and triggering, but no, I clock from Pam's. Like Pam's is the master clock no matter what on all these. And I then run just one channel currently. But I set up all the different phasing stuff to happen to where the melody, phrase, and time is separate from the trigger, phrase, and time is separate from the octave, phase, and time, and then that's going into Shifty is splitting it into two parts, and then that's going into two channels of Just Friends, and Just Friends is on not the middle switch, but the left switch, so that it doesn't trigger them together. It like if one is decaying, it won't trigger it again. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, exactly. But it does the thing where it adds another level of rhythmic, like polyrhythmic, like interaction between the two parts. Yeah. And depending on where you set everything.
Right.
And so I go in that, and then I just shape either the attack being smooth or the attack being a hit, you know? And speed it up or slow it down, and then switch back and forth between LFO if I just want to get everything swirling and have direct control over how fast and slow it is. And it's just this thing that by itself doesn't even sound that great, and then I run it into a delay that's doing the same thing to abstract the time on another level. And then when you have all
then you
of
add
that,
another layer, and it's like,
then
that's how I feel.
It starts coming together.
Yeah, that's how I feel every time I make a melody. I'm just like, you know, it's just like going through some sequence, and maybe it even changes a little bit, and I'm just like, okay, put the delay on it, whatever. It's like, okay, it gets better, and then you just add a second, third, fourth voice or whatever, and it's just like, this is how this works. Like, this is how this comes alive, because it's you know, the sum is greater than the parts.
It's like, woven bread.
Yeah, completely.
Do you know Longmont Potion Castle?
No.
if I forgot for a second, I thought we were on Instagram live right now, and that Austin would be listening to this with
I'd
the
be
woven.
like-
But if we ever use any of this, he'll catch that. I'll play at some point this prank phone call guy that's like the Richard D. James of prank phone calls, and he has a woven bread thing that's pretty good. All you need to do is look up woven loaf.
Woven loaf.
Yeah,
prank
on
call.
YouTube. But it is the tapestry. It's everything together. And by the way, the melodies you were playing tonight, I'm actually curious. You were playing something. Is that whatever that mono
Earthsea.
module? Yes, Earthsea.
Earthsea is like,
You can capture a gesture, right?
yeah, Earthsea is like so incredible. I can't believe it's discontinued and it's not an Ansible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my desert island.
Oh
module.
wow. Okay.
Like that's not a sound source, basically.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's basically a looper that you can program gestures that will change three parameters.
Okay.
So while you're playing, you can change timbres.
Yeah.
Like really, like, basically have preset timbre
The little
presets.
like
Yeah, it's like
shapes that you
three
make.
three fingers diagonal, like
Yeah.
2 fingers.
Yeah.
And that's just, beside that, it's like a looper that you can play, and the keyboard is laid out in 14/5.
Yes.
And I mean, it's laid out in semitones, but it's like when you play it, it's like
Vertical
like
is
1,
fourth.
4, 5.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just
And-
the
and-
most beautiful scale, like just in the
But it's
box.
half steps left to right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played it so much now where it's just like the scale that you just have in the box. It's similar to like playing pentatonic on a
I was gonna say it feels
guitar.
like a guitar
Yeah,
thing.
it's very, very guitar friendly, and it's just like
Right,
it
right,
feels
because
good.
the
You make
guitar is
loops.
basically fourth, except the whole B string thing. You need
Yeah.
to like become a bass player. It's almost like a
Yeah.
bass,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you loop, and then you can, if you do 3 fingers like in this triangle formation,
yeah.
it speeds up the loop, and then
Because that's what was so
downwards,
great.
put it down.
You'd have this melody, and then it would just stretch out in time,
Yeah.
and it was like, like the elasticity of phrasing.
Yeah. And you really can't do what Earthsea does on any other
Yeah, I can't
sequencer.
imagine.
Like, you can't do the looping, the time stretching, and you can also destructively quantize it, like snap it to a grid.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't really use that because I love the way that it
Sure.
is unquantized rhythmically, but
And
yeah, that-
rhythmically, it's whenever you hit the button, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's
it's
just
literally like a
performance.
looper pedal.
Yeah.
There's a one, the
Oh,
third
yeah.
button or fourth button from the top on the left column.
That
It's like
is very cool.
a play head, a
Sure.
record head, and you just like hit record, play, and change the speed. Then you can stop it really easily and make a new one really easily. And it's like having a keyboard and a looper and like a timbre preset controller.
Because the other outputs aren't scaled to, can they all be volts per octave?
No, so
Right.
I don't know what the range of the.
Probably smaller.
Yeah, it's definitely like just CV modulation
Yeah,
purposes,
okay.
not.
The other two are that. One of them is
So there's
suitable for
three. So there's 3 outputs that have knobs,
right.
and then there's the edge, which is the gate trigger,
Yes.
and then there's I forget what it's called, but it's just the volt per octave CV.
Okay.
And then the 3 knobs you correspond to, there's like this little, like basically like a little level slider on the bottom.
Yeah.
And you catch them in, so you catch one into rings,
structure or something.
Yeah, one
or
into the
probably
brightness,
not structure, but whatever.
one
Yeah.
into the,
Yeah.
you know, the three.
Whatever
like,
the bottom right one is.
like,
I know.
what
See,
are
I'm
they?
so visual with everything. I don't ever know any of the names to any of them. Yeah.
But yeah, plug it into those three things, and then when you change the knobs on Earthsea, you'll hear the changes happening with the tone of rings, and then you save them as gestures.
Save that as a gesture.
So you can make it go from
it snaps from preset
like
to preset.
a really snappy kind of like pluck sound.
Right. Okay.
To like a drone just by, and you can make your loop sound like that too, which is what's really cool.
Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah.
See, now this is what I would want. I would then want to be putting those three outputs to each to their own mixer, so that I could still be able to modulate those parameters on the device that I'm working with, but still be able to have preset controllers.
Right.
So you know, because
I think you can, because it's just CB.
It's just an offset.
Yeah,
right?
so you
exactly.
can, you know, move the brightness up, and then if you were to change the preset, it would be relative to
with your hand.
Yeah.
But not like an LFO, like
right.
sometimes
right.
I mean.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Programmatic control.
Although you probably could. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But that's doable. I mean, you just would need like a mixer or two or three, depending on it. If you want to do it to everything, but probably not. Probably just be modulating like one. But yeah, this is cool.
It's cool. It's a really fun. I realize that I like love playing. I love
gestural.
Yeah, like I love having some element of like live improv of like just playing notes.
Yeah.
Like I would on a keyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
But having a MIDI controller doesn't really like give me what I want, because I do want to like sometimes latch things and like make them a part of the piece as a loop. Or as a drone or whatever.
This is what I got so excited about the Squarp Hermod about. I was thinking that would be like the perfect thing, and I could like MIDI loop and stuff. And I only had like 2 sessions with it where I sat down. It's not working for me the way I was hoping, and it sounds to me that Earthsea is actually.
Try to find an Earthsea. Yeah.
Right, is actually closer to what I'd be looking for and way simpler. Like I've already got the grid. It's just another 6 HP module.
Same as Anvil.
Instead of the huge Hermod that's like it's.
I mean, that's why those mono sequencers are so. I mean, it's like I have 3 sequencers in 18 HP. Could potentially be 9.
Right.
9 channels
because of
sequencing.
Yeah, because Kriya has so many.
Kriya's 4, levels can be 4.
Right.
And sequencing on levels is cool too.
It was so this is worth getting on this is the fact that you were turning the knob on levels that was quantized to a scale.
Yeah.
And it'll just output those notes.
Yeah.
And because Rings has 4-voice polyphony before it, it can hold out that many notes, you would just lightly turn the knob, which from a distance looked like you were doing this, and it was just so cool to see. It was like the harp being strummed.
Yeah.
It was.
That's my like. I might be like a little bit too attached to it. It's like automatically like when I'm even just starting with a blank slate.
That's
I'm like,
the first
all right,
thing
well,
you
I'm
do.
gonna patch it into the thing because I want to play it like a harp.
Yep.
It's like,
yep. And
it like makes it sound different to me too.
Yeah, sure. I've been doing gestural things with marbles. I've been feeling really good with marbles.
I have to dive into even more.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot and combining it with Kriya, because Kriya is like it's super abstract, but it's very structured, it's timed, and being able to get all of this like more fluid gestural stuff has been great. But now to think that a little bit of levels in there can also get that thing.
Yeah.
I had done, when I owned a Telharmonic, I was using that with levels, and I was turning the slew on, and it was like a theremin.
Oh, that's
It was like a
cool.
theremin that would
Oh,
lock
I
onto the
love
pitch no matter
that.
what.
Yeah.
You know, it would scoop up to it, but it would like zero in on that note
The
eventually.
slew on levels?
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's cool.
So
I'm
that
gonna try that.
that was super fun, and I think I was setting up. I had foot control over a VCA, so I was like volume pedaling
Cool.
it, sort of, you know.
That's really cool.
And then putting that VCA before the delay.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I think the other levels, the other knobs on levels were like filter. It was one of the timbral controls on Telharmonic, and then like I think I was running it through Sisters,
Yeah.
and so it was like filter cutoff was another one of them,
Yeah.
and I don't remember what the other one was, but it was just so nice to have these controls right in front of me, where like here's my theremin, here's my timbre,
Yeah.
here's my like secondary timbre,
Yeah.
and then my foot is on the volume, and
Yeah,
I can
it's so
be
cool.
expressive basically.
Yeah. It's very expressive. Yeah.
There's like
But that's the whole thing. It's like we have these ways of interacting where, you know, it's buttons and we're patching and we're doing this, but having that like human gesture, like
Yeah.
coming up with ways that we can like be a part of it. It's not just like, you know, tapping ears to like
Yeah.
trigger a thing, but like to
Right,
have
right, right.
multiple parameters that we can like do something with and really move with it. And that's why Marbles has been feeling great. I just have my hand on the time knob, whatever that
Yeah.
is called, the top left
Yeah.
big one
Yeah.
that makes the tempo happen,
Yeah.
you know, like, and just, you know, bringing that in and letting something happen and then pulling it way back down to nothing so that no activity happens.
Right.
You know, and then just
Yeah.
allowing a few things to come in,
Yeah.
and maybe locking on a time, maybe then clocking it, and then sinking into something, maybe turning the other knob that does the shuffle versus the out of time randomness.
Is that the jitter?
Jitter, yes, exactly. So like turning jitter to be able to go free or to be able to lock in. I mean, that's, I think of all of the modules that can do synced things, it does it so well. It can move between synced and unsynced so well.
Yeah. Yeah, because random modules you can't make synced, because it's a random sampler.
Unless you're clocking it with some sort of complex process that is syncing and unsyncing. If you have some sort of,
Yeah.
you know,
Crazy. Yeah.
I don't even know what would do that, but I'm sure
Yeah.
there's something that exists that, you know, ADAC made a thing like a year or two ago, right? That was like a phasing clock module where it had two clocks and it was like Steve Reich, you know?
Yeah.
That you could just offset the
really
one a
cool.
little bit from the other. But
That's
still,
cool.
that's not like no tempo. It's still two
Yeah.
tempos.
Totally.
But yeah.
Cool. Wow. Yeah, really like playing the module has been.
Mhm.
I've been on that quest recently. Like it just feels the best to me.
So all of your looping,
I want to get Tempe back again. I think actually.
because you can, yeah, exactly.
I just used to like that was such a huge part of my when I would play live or
You just
perform live.
feel a
Like
time,
you're just like
and then you just tap it in.
tap it in, and you can tap it in like you know all 6 of that. Like yeah.
Oh right, you can do multiple.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sort of feeling you too on that. I liked the fact that Pamela's was a little smaller. I liked the fact that in Pamela's I could know what was happening.
Yeah.
Because the thing is I would tap in something and then want to be able to
no idea
recall
what's
it later,
happening.
and
Yeah.
and it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But it is such a gestural, like if I could just let go of the need to have that control of knowing what
Yeah.
it is, then it's fine.
Yeah. I was drawn to Pam's because of
Everything else.
everything else.
Exactly.
And I find myself only really using it for clocks because of
Same here.
Just Friends
Yeah.
and now Marbles. I'm
Yeah.
just like, well, I don't really need the random. I don't really need to like, you know, sort of like MacGyver an off tempo thing
Yes,
with
yes.
you know, the skip or whatever.
The skip can be good, but the other one, the jitter, it's not jitter, but whatever,
Yeah.
it's too strong.
Yeah.
It's like you get 1% is sometimes too much for
Yeah.
me, and that's your first choice.
Yeah.
But like, how am I ever going to use anything above 5?
No.
It's like not musical, and
No.
so I think it's just not scalable. It's not musically designed in that way, you know. But actually, I do use LFOs out of it occasionally because a lot of the configurations I end up putting together don't have just a modulation source.
Yeah.
They'll have like Just Friends is being used in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll have a random or
That's
something.
true. Just
but I don't have
Friends
an easy
also is
LFO.
not really exactly what you want when you want.
You just want an LFO, you know?
modulating
Exactly.
something, yeah.
Well, I usually would want an LFO that is scalable.
Well, that's what's great about Payments,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would though. I used to use it a lot with using the two CV inputs to then have knob control over not circadian, Euclidean rhythms, and so that was pretty cool to be able to like increase the fills, you know, and maybe even increase and decrease the steps.
Yeah.
So you could really get any kind of rhythm that way. It is handy. It's not something I would get rid of, but I could see myself swapping it out for Tempe.
Yeah.
I hear the new firmware. There's newer firmware since
really?
I've last gotten rid of it in the last 2 years or whatever.
I'm thinking about it. Make Noise is really good. I mean, I feel like I like went away from a lot of their stuff, and I'm just realizing
that you want to
their
come back
stuff
around.
Is, like,
I'm feeling the same
kind
thing.
of the best.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of the same.
I think I'm gonna get an Optimix again. I don't use those.
I have
Optimix.
2 of them, and I'm never getting rid of them.
Yeah, I think I need to get my Optimix back. I've been using the passive, the dual pass gate, the little
which doesn't have, I had that for a little while. The sound, I mean, I love his ideas and I love what he does, and I love that it's tiny, but it's no Optimix.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be.
It's not. Yeah.
Optimix sounds so good. I mean, that's so much of the sound that I get out of the STOs is because of the Optimix.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like STO into Optimix.
Yes, it's such a good sound.
It's beautiful.
Yep.
It's perfect.
The weird notched or whatever, the weird shape that the STO makes when you turn that knob.
I know.
Just nothing else sounds like it.
I'm gonna get an STO too.
Yeah. And it's funny, in the very beginning I had gotten an STO with my first case, and I'd gotten rid of it because I just wasn't feeling it at the time, and then I came back to it and got 2 of them, and it was just like, okay, this is the sound.
Yeah.
And
it's a good sound.
after I had played Modular on the Spot, Vanna said something along the lines, she was just like, what was that like, how did she explain it? She described it as like a wave folded something or other sound. She was like, what was that you were getting?
It is
and I was
kind
like,
of a wave folder.
Maybe that's what's going on. I don't even know what's going on.
The drawing of it is like, I'm pretty sure that the drawing of it is like the shape of an M with like a little thing.
And it keeps getting more M's
and that's kind of like...
Right, wave folding does that like fractal thing, right? Yeah. So, but and I was like, oh, it's just the STO, and which she uses too, you know.
I wonder if I could take a sine wave from, because I've been using sines from the 301 a lot, because I love sines.
They don't match the sines out of STOs though.
Yeah.
I tried to, I can't get it. I can't use it.
Well, the STO's an analog sine wave.
Yeah,
right?
and there's just more grit in it, but I've been wanting the 301 to sound like my STOs so that I could use the 301 in my case and not keep kicking it out, but I couldn't though.
I was going to say, I wonder if, because the Cold Mac has a wave folder on it.
Oh, I see.
It sounds pretty good. But I haven't, now that I'm thinking of it, I haven't put it as just like a pure sine.
I've checked something else. I have a new module that I'll be doing some stuff with. I met Jeff from Antimatter Audio, the guy that makes Brainseed, and he's got this cool thing called Crossfolder that is like a crossfader and a wave folder, and you just give it 2 sines, and it sounds amazing.
Wow.
So it does this other stuff with it. It's not like turning the knob on the STO. And so I think I'm gonna. I mean, I can't make room for that in a performance case. It's still small. I mean, it's like
4,
6 maybe, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm low on the space anyway, though. Like, yeah, yeah.
I was like, people are telling and they see me eating this, like,
Yeah,
shoving my face with this pizza.
Well, that's just what happened. She just did a live stream and totally got me like eating.
Is it recording?
Well, yeah, we're at the tail.
We're at the tail of it, though. Yeah. So.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Sorry.
Fortunately, it's an edited sort of thing anyway, so and we are sort of wrapping up on it anyway, so but yeah.
I mean, I could go on forever, but.
And as could I, but I mean, this cross folder seems pretty cool. I'm gonna incorporate it in like the home case.
Yeah. Two cases, and then the mutable bonus.
So yeah.
3.
I actually have 4 cases
You have 4
now.
cases.
I got an
Are they
IntelliGel
all in submodular?
case.
Oh, you got
No, I got an IntelliGel, and I love it. That's what I'm traveling with now.
Is it the 7U?
Yeah, because I now have 2 quadrats in the top, and so it's so easy to
What's
just
the quadrat? I'm like
4 knobs. It's a mixer or offsets or anything. So basically, I can control any parameters.
Oh, that's their fancy new. Yeah.
I mean, it's like the they had a triad, which was shades. It's like shades,
Right.
like a mixer with 3 channels. Now the quadrat just has 4 channels mixing, or you can just bring offsets out of them if you don't plug any inputs in.
Gotta have 4. Gotta have 4 channels.
And I've got 2 of them, so it's like 8, man. And that's the reason for having that. And then I've got a little random module in the top too. So then, here, let's do it this way. Let's go modular grid. I'm sure I must have a modular grid. Here it is, of it. So this way, I don't have to take up case space. And I gotta say, I really like this case because it has a bag, and the bag has a little zipper on the back that lets you slip it over a like wheelie, like the handle on a wheeled. You know how like travel bags can be put on top of a suitcase?
Yeah.
It has one of those, so you can literally just have. I've got my like Pelican with my stuff in it,
Yeah.
and then that's on top, and
That's
I can just
great.
go. But so this allows me to basically.
So this is kind of like your
It's like the other one.
OG case.
Except marbles. Yeah, that's what happens.
I always do this.
I know. it's yeah. Except now I have marbles and flats happening in here, and I brought in peaks because I needed some envelopes for
ripples.
Ripples, man. Yeah.
You like ripples?
Well, I like the sound of it. I like the
Can you ping it?
attenuverter. I haven't done that. Maybe. But it sounds good with flats. That's like a loom sound, you know? So basically I've got like the best of from the loom in a way, right? I've got, I can do like flats and rings via marbles, and then flats requires a filter in my book.
This is so similar to mine, just like slightly different modules.
And then, right, exactly, you're accomplishing this stuff with the 301, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But like, so this is similar to the other case, yeah. But now I can attenuate anything I need. Like rings always needs attenuation before going into sisters, so that makes an easy like pre and post attenuation. I can control like hams with some offsets. I can control like ornament and prime. The recent little thing I just did on Instagram was to show how like I have just an offset coming from here being quantized very specifically in here going into the pitch of clouds.
Oh yeah,
and,
I saw that.
Like without
That's
all of
cool.
these utilities, without all of these like knobs,
Yeah.
you don't have gestural control over things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Cool.
And then it's low on modulation.
Is
though.
this what you have with you?
This is what I have with me. This is all, yeah. I'm using this and then just like the bin and the bam,
Oh yeah.
you know, on the mixer sends. And I tried to get away from Rainmaker and do Magneto, but I couldn't do it.
Magneto is not
I know I'm not feeling it right
I'm
now.
not feeling it.
And-
I'm like honestly not feeling Magneto.
And I really want the pitch knob to be like quantized to a major pentatonic or just fifths,
yeah.
because I can't use it, man. It's like
No.
it goes up to a minor third, and it's like that's the exact opposite. I don't
Yeah.
want to modulate by a minor third in my music. Like,
no.
like that's too dissonant. Like,
Yeah.
and so
There's really no.
I can't even get good sounds out of it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm finding it like
Austin's making it sound amazing.
Austin does great with it. Yeah, I'm finding that it's like the character of it is really extreme. First of all, like
Okay,
the sound
true.
of it, I
Yeah.
feel like is very Magneto.
Yes.
Which I don't really like that. Like I don't really want something to like only have kind of
Right.
like the shift section is just like
You're locked
sounds
into
the
only
same.
that, right? And
Yeah.
so I find myself using 4 most of the time only in shift,
Yeah.
and barely bringing in 2
yeah.
without the feedback on, without the feedback button.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of cool, but
Yeah.
it becomes like a 2-trick pony.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I use it as a delay, it's just like, you know, like a 1 million HP delay that sounds.
Well, Rainmaker,
Well,
that's kind of
yeah.
the issue I'm having with that.
Yeah, there is no. I was just like DMing with Austin about this. He really
Yeah.
loves Magneto, but I was just like, there is no perfect ear.
I seriously, I want a 10 to 14 HP stereo delay. I basically
Gotta be
want.
stereo. Like,
I
why
want
is it chronoblock
a DLD, but I want it to be
DLD doesn't have like fun warble.
warble the way Chronoblob can be, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have it built in.
No.
And so, which is why I
This is
use
crazy.
Rainmaker. I know,
Yeah.
exactly. So instead I have a, what is this, 36 HP or something crazy? I don't even know. Like, 26? I don't
Very
know.
low.
28? I don't know. It's a lot.
I think it's in the 30s.
Yeah, 32 maybe. I don't even know. But so, and I use it just for slightly warbly with filter. It's got to have a filter on it. And stereo.
The filter's like built into that though, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like it's all in there. And
Can you use it like it's just stereo, right? So can you?
you can pan any tap anywhere.
Yeah.
And you can pitch up and down any tap anywhere. But the thing that I don't like about it is, say you, like I'll do like a 4 and a 6 tap, right? What doesn't make sense to me is the feedback then, you have to choose the time division that it will feed back. So that means the 4 and the 6 are all feeding back on the quarter note, or on the 8th note. But I want the 4 to be on the quarter note, and the 6 to be on the 6. I want it to be like the DLD, where like, they're both doing their opposite times, you know, and so it doesn't quite work that way. I don't
God,
think,
there is
or I
no-
don't understand it.
And the tapographic delay is so cool.
I didn't like the
feels so
sound of
cool.
it though. It sounded too weird, resonant in a
Yeah,
weird way.
the sound of it is super resonant. Like it gets like kind of like dirty
Yeah.
really fast, and the modulation knob is like similar to the
It's too much.
the messy
Yes,
on the Pams.
exactly.
It's like you turn it up just the tiniest bit.
Yeah.
Like it's not really smooth sounding. It's just like
Yes,
it's frustrating because like delay.
it's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's completely everything. And
Delay is everything.com.
can we, is it possible to use, okay, so DLD almost is the closest, but
Yeah, I used to put LFOs.
that's what I mean.
DLD.
Can we like run in the effects loop, like full wet, and then repitch it somehow? Like,
Yeah, like how do you patch in pitch modulation?
anytime I've patched in anything on the DLD, like for example, Chronoblob sounds amazing with a filter in it, and it works. DLD, you patch a filter in, and it changes the character of it, and then the levels are hard to get going. So really, it sounds like the closest thing is 2 Chronoblobs, and just a small filter, like a little 2 HP filters, 2 Chronoblobs, and
The knobs
some-
on the 2 HP.
but the filter you don't, on a filter filter delay, you don't need to adjust it that often.
Yeah, you
it's
don't,
more like
yeah.
a set it and like leave it for a little while.
Yeah.
So I could get down with that, and then we would just need some sort of modulation source to then give a little bit of warble. That might be the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, because Tyler did a really smash up job
The
or whatever
Chronolob
with that.
is my favorite of all the delays, but it's not stereo,
Right.
which is just the hardest thing for me.
But being 10 HP, it's not so bad. I mean, 20 HP, it's a stereo delay then.
Right.
And then you're up to par with the DLP.
Yes.
And then that's 4 more HP for 2 filters
Yeah.
to stereo filter that. So, and then we all have modulation that we can,
Right.
we don't have to have that internally
It's because
necessarily.
it's built in. And the sound of it is good on the
I think it sounds
Chronolob.
great. Yeah. And he has a recent update that I haven't checked out
Oh, really?
that I think addresses it reduces noise or something something like that. So
That might be the move.
yeah. So Tyler, are we still recording?
just
Yeah, we
figured
are.
it out.
So yeah, so send us some chronoblobs, Tyler, please.
This is the funniest, like, gray.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'll be color
Color.
grading it after. Yeah. I shoot flat. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, shall we call it? So yeah, thanks for. I don't know what I'm saying. This is fun.
This
It's
is
always
fun.
fun hanging with
Long
Emily.
nerd conversation.
Yeah.